Hey guys, so the goal for today is pretty much helping you pick up eyelashes which is most suitable for your eye shape. Okay, so we will actually be talking about the eyelash style first, and then later on I will be explaining which style is more suitable for which eye shape. So the style of lash comes first, then we'll be discussing the eye shape. So there are many eyelash shape, type, and style. So I'm going to try my best to categorize them. But the two main shapes, so imagine these are the eyes. I am questioning my drawing skills. But the first one is the cat eye. So it means that the inner corner lash is shorter than the outer. So they kind of flare out. There, cat eye kind of shape. Okay, so the next one is the dolly eye kind of look. Is if you fold your eyelash in half, they should be symmetrical. The longest point on this is the center, and the longest point on this cat eye is the outer corner. Okay, so this is your general two main shapes we're going to go by, cat eye and the dolly eye eyelashes. However, they do also come in different style. So you can get one which is natural, so usually they're like a singular roll. So this one is a natural dolly look, and then you get the idea. You can get the natural cat eye one as well. So this is for people who are looking for more of the natural style. So this is the natural style, so this is the dolly, as this bit's longer, and this one was the cat style. And then you also get other ones, hybrid. What I mean by that is you get, hybrids are like when the lengths are like some really long. So hybrid is like you get really long bit. So this would be like a hybrid dolly, because then you get some very long parts. They're still under the dolly lash, but usually these kind of hybrids, they are more volume. And it's best, like, if you're looking for that Instagram kind of look, this is the kind of eyelash you want to go for. And likewise, this kind of hybrid looks comes with both the dolly style and the cat eye style. I also find as well with this kind, usually they're either false mink eyelash or they're silk eyelash or mink eyelash, normally with this kind of style. And then you get another one, which is very well known and seems to be very well loved for all the right reason, is the demi, and I realize I can't spell wispy. So normally people think of the Ardell one, but all that means is they cluster at the base. So like they kind of crisscross, and the density, it's like, this is the best of my abilities. I am trying to draw this, but they cluster. So they kind of like zigzag like that, and most of the volume is actually at the base. So these are the wispy eyelash. Likewise, they usually come in two types, so both the dolly and the cat eye. I find like wispy quite suitable for majority of eye shape. Another tip for choosing the correct, it's not very, it's kind of hard to say, the correct shape for the correct eye set, because it's just so highly dependent on what you are going for, or what your makeup is, what your style is, what your eye shape is. So many variables for you to choose, and there's so many different options as I've just explained. But don't be afraid to cut your eyelashes. So what I mean by that is, okay, this is the eye. Me doing this absolutely awful. Like, you don't need, your eyelash strip shouldn't start here at the very beginning and all the way to the very end. Like when I do apply false eyelash, I make sure to cut it about here, so that's where it actually begins, and then the end is here. If you have downward or downturn eye, be very, very vigilant on this bit to cut, because if your false eyelash is too long on a downturn eye, you can literally make it droopy even further. So don't be afraid to cut your eyelash. Also, that would make it more comfortable and it'll sit better. Make sure to also give your eyelash glue like around 30 seconds so that it becomes tacky before applying. Okay, so the first eye shape I'm going to start with is the upturn eyes. So as you can see, the eye actually kind of goes up that way. So unlike, it's the opposite of downturn. So the downturn just goes that way. So it's like that. Right, so with this particular eye shape, if I was going to choose the most suitable eyelash, so the two types that we spoke about in terms of eyelash, there's the doll eyelash and the more cat eye look eyelash. With this one, because it is going upturn, and I do want to put more focus onto the outer corner, like it will depend quite a lot on what the client wants. But for me personally, I would pick a cat eye look for this one, the downturn. So this one, as you can see, it's opposite. So this one, the eyes actually do more kind of like this shape going downward. There, this is the best of my abilities drawing this. But with this one, your goal is try to lift the outer corners of the eyes, I would be more likely to lean towards the cat eye. Because I don't want to put too much, because if I went for dolly, the focus will be on here. It will just make the eye droop even further. But with a cat eye, so actually, also I wouldn't, if I was cutting the strip lash, I wouldn't put it all the way out to the very corner, because it has a tendency to droop down even further. So I'm pretty much going to go here and do the cat eye shape. So there we are. So what that does, as you can see compared to that one, it pulls the eye upwards instead. So if you have a downturn eyes, I would personally go for a more of a cat eye look. The next eye shape will be the round eye shape. So once again, this is going to be up to preference. So some people would want to accentuate the roundness of their eyes and make it more dolly-like looking, so they will go for the doll eyelash. That will make the eye pop. But in some cases, some people would prefer to minimize the roundness of their eyes. Therefore, to minimize, you want to elongate. And if you would like to elongate, the cat eye is your best option. But to be honest, in this case, it really is up to preference on what they want to achieve for their final look. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to go with the close set eyes. So what that means is this gap here between the eyes is rather small. So usually, perfectly aligned face, you should be able to put another eye just in between here. So in this case, this bit is shorter than another eye between. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so the goal for this particular eye shape is we want to open up this space. Because with a lot of times, with eyelashes is you want to go for a balanced profile. So since we're trying to open up that space, we don't want to be putting on heavy doll lashes, which will make this area look more close. So for this particular close set eyes, I would go for the cat look. So by doing that, you actually open up the space. So it pushes out this way more, if that makes sense. Yes. So wide set eye is pretty much the opposite to that. So you've got pretty much an extra eye here and a little bit more. So your goal for this particular eye shape to balance the entire profile is you want to close the gap you have here. In order to do so, if you do a cat eye, you'll just elongate it further, so the gap will be actually wider. So for this, I would actually go for the dolly, kind of like, okay, I drew that too big, but you get the idea. So a dolly lash is what I would go for. So then, therefore, as we can see, so therefore it closes up the space here a little bit more. So the next eye shape is the almond shaped eye. So how you identify this is there's usually a very sharp corner here, and this bit does tilt upwards. So it's not quite an upturn where, like with an upturn, you can see it quite clearly. But with this, it's like it droops down a little bit more, but that is still that kind of shape going. Hope that is making more sense. So upturn is a lot more prominent and doesn't usually have that inner corner as prominently as an almond shape does. There we are. Okay, so for almond shape, you've got a lot more flexibility. You can pretty much do both style. Now, what you're going to choose is going to be up to preference. If you've got almond eye shape and you're looking to have more drama and more flair to the eye, so let's more like of a sexier look, let's go with that. You'll go with the cat eye. So you'll be able to get away with the cat eye look, but if you are feeling more of a dolly look, of course you go for the doll eye. Since this eye shape is more or less pretty much balanced, you can get away with either lash. These are based on preference. So the next eye shape I'm going to be talking about is the monolid. Yes, I did doodle there. I tried to explain and it turned out it made no sense in English, so we're trying again. But essentially, monolid is more prevalent amongst Asian heritage. So with this eye shape, usually speaking, for a smaller eye shape, I would normally go for the cat eye look, hence you see the scribble here. However, if we go on here, this is also another monolid. Based on the way her lid looks, the main focus for me in terms of choosing an eyelash for monolid is I want an eyelash, okay, imagine this is the eye from the side view. Awfully drawn. Because this bit is hooded, I want an eyelash that push out and go up, so then it's visible. So if I was going to explain this in like eyelash extension kind of shape, it would be an L curl. Because I want it to push out and that, so then it is visible when you're looking at front. So if I'm going by this particular graph, I would have gone for the standard cat eye. I would like the eyelash to be quite dense. So if I was going to pick an eyelash, I'd probably go for like a kind of like crisscross wispy for this particular eye shape. However, it depends, because not all eye shapes are just one shape. So you could be with like close set with upturn, it could be a mixture. Okay, with this particular diagram, I would have gone for the cat eye. Just give it more drama and that more like sweet look. However, if I'm going for the exact same monolid, but on this particular sets of eyes, I would actually gone for the dolly look. But the main thing is you want your eyelash to be of an L shape, so then you can actually see it. So I would have actually, in her case, gone for the dolly look to open up the eyes. So it's going to be a preference thing, but the key thing is you want that kind of L shape, L curl lash, so that you can visibly see it. Okay, same concept with the Monolid, like it's a similar approach. If you have hooded eyelid, I would have gone with a similar approach as the mono eyelid as well. Just because for the hooded eyelid, you have the same issue. There is a hood over the eye. So therefore, you want an eyelash that you can see, like visibly, and doesn't get hidden by that. So personally, in terms of shape for a hooded eyelid, I would have gone for a cat eye, which is quite dense, so either the crisscross style or the wispy. And I would also make sure that is an L curl kind of shape. So therefore, you are camouflaging the hood a little bit more. So if you can have it more dense, you'll be camouflaging the hood, did eyelid, and then dragging and providing more drama to the eyes. Okay, and the next eye shape is the protruding eye shape. So usually with this particular eye shape, this bone bit does come out, and so does the eye. So usually they're quite large, if that makes sense. It's the opposite of deep set, which goes inwards. That's my best description I can provide. But if I was going to pick an eyelash for this particular eye shape, I would personally go with the cat eye look, but I wouldn't necessarily go for a very big, thick eyelash, because the eyes, it's going to be up to preference again and what you're trying to achieve. If, for example, you have the protruding eye shape and you want to minimize the protrusion, we'll go with that, I would have gone for the cat eye shape. So then it puts more focus, rather than on the center, it puts more focus on the end of it. So it narrows it down a bit more. And the other one I found is, in this diagram doesn't have it, but the opposite to protruding is a deep set. So this is Emma Watson. That is a very terrible angle to explain. But all a deep set eye is the eye itself. So this area here protrudes out more. Therefore, it casts almost like a shadow over the eye, making it look more deep set. That's the best way I can put it. With this particular eye shape, I would treat it quite similar to the monolid and the hooded eye. So I would honestly go for, in this particular case, will be the cat eye, which is thicker at the base, because otherwise if it's thin, it just doesn't look like there's much to that, because you already have shadows. So you want it to, once again, be of an L curl, more of a cat eye to pretty much just elongate and open, but this will be quite dependent on the overall shape. In terms of Emma Watson, I would have gone for the cat eye, and make sure it's an L shape, just because if it's deep set, you have a chance of, if it's not this kind of shape, and if it curls back in, so like a C curl, you can actually just touch the skin on top and it won't be particularly comfortable. Hope this was somewhat helpful. I've never done this kind of video before. And if you have any further questions, please leave it in the description below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you for listening. Please have a lovely day.